Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life.
All right, 4 minutes after 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Nice looking Tuesday morning. Hope you're doing well. I kind of like the cool temperatures. If you have children and you're going out trick-or-treating on Friday, I'm sure you're hoping it'll stay cool. Just, you don't need me to tell you to be safe, I guess. Galen Unold is on the phone from LifeSouth to remind us of the importance of donating blood. Oh, and I had a question for Galen about Robin's husband, who was going through a surgical procedure this morning, which is why Robin's not here. He's getting he had some kind of a collapsed thing in his backbone and my spine, and I'm terrible at trying to relay medical stories. But anyway, apparently they're putting some needles through his back to put a balloon in there, and then he called it grout. They're filling it with grout so that his backbone is back to where it should be. And Galen would know way more about this than me. Good morning, Galen. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Larry. How are you?
Pretty good. Kind of as usual when Robin's not here. It feels weird.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Worked together for so long. Sure.
So I have a question about what I just told you about Ronnie's procedure this morning.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like the kind of procedure you would need blood for, but do they keep some on hand just in case? Do before they get ready to do a small procedure like that, do they say, okay, we're going to need the blood type available just in case?
Not typically, not for that type of back surgery,
Okay.
because there's just not a lot of, there's not a lot of blood around the spinal cord. So typically, if something goes wrong, they're in a hospital, they can instantly transfuse them with O negative, but they don't typically have it set aside and pre-cross match for a procedure like that.
Oh, really? So the O negative is around because it's the universal donor.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So if there was some case of an emergency, and that's what they would use, but typically, that kind of an outpatient. Whenever you have like an outpatient procedure where you're going to come in the morning and then say leave in the afternoon, you're not going to need blood products, because if you have a blood transfusion, you're in that hospital for at least 24 hours after the blood transfusion.
Oh, okay. All right. And you have a phone call coming in, so let's take that call, and then we'll do all our other stuff. Good morning. You're on the air with Galen.
Please. Hi, Larry. This is Kathy.
Hey.
Hi, Galen. I have a question again for Galen. And I'm doing a feature, actually, on a blood donor drive and a blood marrow donor drive that's going to happen this November 2nd. And I was told by his Colleen that if you register to be a donor in person, there's no fee, but if you go online to register, there is a fee. And I just wondered why that was. What's the difference?
Sure. Yeah, and that's for marrow. There is, and it's really quite simple. If you go online and you are a Caucasian, you're going to have to pay, and I believe it's $56.
Sticking it to the white man, huh?
Well, yeah, it's because there's no grant money. Whereas if you come and donate with LifeSouth, LifeSouth pays for that. It's one of our our foundation of 5 Points of Life. It's one of the things that we raise money for, and we believe that if you want to donate it, it's part of our obligation is to serve this community, is to make that free. So there you go.
Okay, thank you, Galen. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah, thank you.
Goodbye.
It sounds like she's doing some kind of an article or something. That's pretty cool.
Love it. Love it.
All right, so I want to mention that this...
Colleen's got a ton of information. I mean, she's worked here as long as I have, and so she's a wealth of information, and so I'm sure she'll be able to help.
Always there, but she never is my phlebotomist. Is she actually a phlebotomist or no?
No. We both started as recruiters, and now she's kind of moved up the ranks, and she's a regional manager. She's aware of it. She knows how to do it, but unless you do it every day, you don't want us to touch you. People.
All right, so let me mention that this segment with Galen is sponsored by Penn Flooring. Make sure you thank them for doing this, because this is a pretty important, like Kathy's question right there. There's so many times people have questions. I mean, anybody who listens regularly knows that we have fun with Galen, and that is the fun part of doing radio, which is why this segment grew from a simple, where's the Bloodmobile today? Okay, thanks, see you later. Yeah, it grew from that to what it is today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank Penn Flooring. Go over there and see their showroom. Maybe get some ideas for the remodeling job that you've got in mind. They've been doing floors for over 25 years. Stop in and visit their spacious showroom at 1201 Southwest 17th Street by the bridge. Tell them you heard about them on WOCA, and that'll make us happy as well.
Yeah, please do.
All right. So how's the blood supply right now?
Good. Nothing like October. Still need platelets, as we talked about yesterday, but other than that, we're good. Have about a 4.5-day blood supply, so just need people to keep giving.
All right. So I have something pretty interesting I want to share with you. I don't know if this is, it might, become something silly and fun, but I don't think so. Robin has been cleaning out her garage lately, apparently, okay? So she's been finding stuff. And she found a report that her son, TJ, did in grade school or in maybe junior high or high school. I don't really know how old he was. But in the report, he interviewed some veterans in order to get a feel for what World War II was like, what Vietnam was like, what the Korean War was like, and et cetera. So one of the veterans he interviewed was my dad. And if I saw this, I never remembered it. And the one thing I was surprised to see was he asked, and you would think that I would have asked this in the course of my life. I never did. He said, what was the saddest thing that happened to you while you were in the Army in World War II? And my dad responded, we lost the whole company and only 5 escaped, meaning he was one of 5 people that survived. Wow. Isn't that amazing?
Wow. Yeah.
How did I miss asking that question?
Well, there's a million things you'd love to talk to your father about after they're gone, aren't they? I mean, because as you grow older, you realize, wow, I wonder how he handled this, and there's that period of time where you don't really want to ask for help anymore because you want to be your own man, and there's a million things I'd love to ask my father, and I'm sure obviously you feel the same way, and and so many of that generation didn't want to talk about the war and what they did. That's amazing, and how lucky you are to have that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I hope you look at it that way. That it's thankfully TJ asked that question, and now you have that answer.
Absolutely, yeah. So there were 2 times in this interview where my dad says that he grew up because of his service. Let me find the first one. The question was, what was the most rewarding thing that happened to you? And my dad said, it made me grow up. And then later on in the interview, how have the war experiences changed your life? He said, made me into a man. So that brought up this question, and this is where I'm taking this. Okay. Do you have any moment in your life, and I have other people's answers to this that I found online, but do you have any moment in your life when you say, gosh, that was the moment I became a man? And don't say your bar mitzvah, because I know you're not Jewish.
That would have been an easy answer, huh? I really feel it was probably the birth of my first child. That first night where you're holding him, it's just you and him, and you realize, wow, I have to live for somebody else. And, I mean, when you're married, you get a little taste of that, but you're still... she's an adult, you're an adult, she could take care of herself, that kind of a thing. But, probably that's probably the moment for me, if you're asking me on the fly.
But now you served in the Navy before you were married, correct? Absolutely,
I did.
So I'm a little surprised, because I was going to say the birth of Alex. That was kind of what did it for me. I stopped touring, quote unquote. I was never famous, but I had a guitar and I had a car. And I played everywhere. But after Alex was born, I said, oh my gosh, I got to get a job and stay in town. That was for me. But I didn't have that experience of being in the military. So I was wondering if that did it for you.
No, and the thing is in a lot of people I've talked to, veterans, you make, as an enlisted sailor, I made very little decisions. Right? They told me what to eat, when to eat it, what to wear, when to wear it, how to wear it, where to show up, how to do my job exactly. So there was very little decision making. And when I think about being a man, it's really about decision making and how to make the right decision and why you're making that right decision. And that's why I say, the birth of my son did that for me. So,
yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And that's for me. I grew up a lot. I mean, don't take me, maybe change me as a human being in a positive way, but I don't think I truly became a man though until my son was born.
Yeah, I think, and what you're saying basically is it's kind of hard to pinpoint an exact moment. It's more of a progression, and they always say that we guys grow up later than the women. Do you think that's true?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I wonder why. I wonder what they go through.
I wasn't done growing up. I mean, physically growing until I was like, 21. So there's that part, and then we're just, men are just mental midgets for the most part. So, and let's be honest, society expects men or boys to act like boys. We're expected to do some stupid things along the way, and rightly or wrongly. But that's just kind of the way it is.
Wow. I wonder how many people broke the law. They behaved badly to the point where they were arrested, but not to the point where they were arrested for a long, long period of time. I wonder if anybody was incarcerated and that was their growing up moment. I'm sure that has happened to a lot of people.
Well, I've had some run-ins with the law without it being without going to jail, and those are the moments you look back and you go, you know what? That was one of those moments where my life could have gone in a completely different direction. So it's kind of interesting.
Do you know, when I worked at the juvenile detention center, there was a young man in there who I can't remember what he did, but he didn't do something that horrified me, and some of them had. But this young man seemed really, really apologetic or remorseful about whatever he did, and I don't remember it being a big thing. But anyway, so I worked with him. That was kind of my job in that time of my life. And later on, I bumped into him in a store. I guess I won't tell you the store, because then maybe people will figure out who I'm talking about, because I think he's still there. I bumped into him in a store, and I mean, he was totally grown up, and it was only like a year later, or maybe not even. And I thought to myself, wow, that experience for him really catapulted him. It was a wake-up call for him. And I wondered why others don't grow up from that. They'll get slapped on the wrist with the juvenile detention stay, and they go back out and they still do it. It's just and doesn't that happen to all of us? Some of us have children and we don't grow up.
Yeah, well, again, it's really hard to judge people in their decision making, but so often we look at it and go, "What are you doing? Why? Think about what you're trying to do here, and the legacy you're leaving." You're right. It's like, come on, you wish you could shake sense into people, but not everybody works that way.
Yeah. We need to take a little break, and then we'll be right back, and we'll continue talking about things that make you grow up, or maybe some things you went through that helped you to grow up. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. We'll take that little break right now. Hold on. I've got to figure out how to do this. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunny to partly cloudy today. A nice day with highs of 84 to 86. Patchy clouds tonight, low 63 to 68. Sun mixing with clouds tomorrow and Thursday. Highs on both days will be between 83 and 87 degrees. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Heather Zayer.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
All right, 18 minutes after 8 o'clock. I very rarely have a meeting, but I just had a meeting with Galen, and we decided to do something fun for the second half of his segment. Galen, you there?
Yeah, well, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here, and that was a great meeting because it lasted less than 30 seconds.
And you didn't have to go anywhere, right? Where are you right now? Where are you?
I'm at work. I'm in the office.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't have to go anywhere.
Today.
That's the way I like meetings. Just what do you need to tell me? Okay, thank you. I got it. We'll move on to the next thing. So we decided that the segment about what made you grow up it's a very long list that I got offline, and it's interesting. But the truth is, I think we covered it. It's kind of a variation of each one of those things and what we said. And they're serious. So we have something lighter. There's a haunted house or haunted acreage. It's called A Nightmare on Pine Street coming up. Well, it's been happening, but again, it'll be this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, put on by the Ocala JCs and the Marine. I can't remember the name of the groups that are putting it on. But anyway, so have you ever gone to a haunted house and been disappointed?
Sure.
Like
yes.
you thought, oh man, that wasn't so scary.
Yes. You where you really had your hopes set up, and then yes, absolutely. And you walk in and it's just plastic bags everywhere. Yes.
Right. So it gave me the idea to do a segment with you that I kind of changed my mind on, but now I'm going back to it, of things that are disappointing. All right, and these are from AskMen.com. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
The disappointing things in life: pre-packaged sandwiches. Disappointing every time.
You know what? And you have high hopes because it looks pretty good.
It looks good. Yeah.
You're looking at it, and I have eaten many of these while I've been on the road.
Right.
Quick and easy. There's a brand called Dundee, and they're actually out of Jacksonville. And they have a sandwich called the Club. And I buy it, and I think this is going to taste really good. And it doesn't. It just doesn't, and I will buy it again. I'll tell you that right now. I will buy it again.
Do you ever do anything to make it better, like put it in the microwave or add pickles or something?
I'm usually, first of all, when I'm buying this, it's because I'm on the road in my car.
Yeah.
So I don't typically have a microwave in my car.
But they usually have it in the store.
I usually just grab it and go.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I could do that. But that would mean I would have to open it. And, I just do put it on the road.
All right. So prepackaged sandwiches are disappointing. Now, you'll have to explain this one. Watching England play football is very disappointing.
Well, obviously this list is British, but during the World Cup, they were just really, really bad this year. And so they disappointed everybody. Yeah.
I don't think Ask Men is a British thing, though. So maybe they've gone to England and didn't like it.
Maybe that's why. Now it'll start to make more sense if it is English.
Okay. Secret.
This list.
Yeah, the list is Secret Santa gifts. Disappointing?
Typically.
Yeah.
Because you only have like $6 or something to buy. And you're like, right. I work with this person, but I really don't know him or her, especially if you get like a girl, a young lady, and you don't know what to get. I know you guys know everybody because you guys have all worked together for so long, but once in a while you'll get somebody and I'm like, they've been here like 3 days. I don't know what they're into.
Right.
And it's that fine line, and you're like, I got you a $3 gift card to Starbucks. That'll cover the cover charge.
Yeah. Weddings are on the list of things that are disappointing every single time. And this has got to be a man's thing. I agree. But I think women love weddings. I don't know. Okay, we're adults here, Larry. There are times when weddings, the after wedding, aren't disappointing. The after wedding? You mean the reception?
It's a great date. Because it gets it gets the ladies' emotions running, and things can turn out.
I see what you're saying. Okay, all right, yeah. Well, I keep myself busy at weddings. I'm usually videotaping or taking pictures.
Yeah, you're a worker bee during weddings.
Yeah, I am.
It's a great place to take your spouse because things can it reminds me how much I love you, that kind of stuff, and that can turn out well for you.
All right, now the next one.
You play your cards right.
In Robin's absence, I think she would disagree with this one, but picnics, very disappointing, according to the AskMen.com. Picnics.
You mean like raw cake mix? I don't get it. I mean, like to make a cake out of it?
No, picnics.
Oh, picnics. I agree. I think Robin would disagree because I think I mean, heck, she turned a picnic at the Amtrak station into something great. But
you have this.
They're never. Let's put it this way: they're never as great as they are on TV or in a movie.
Right.
That's why they're disappointing. It's usually hot or windy or bug-filled, or, they're never like this, and there's never music in the background, unless I hired you and had, hey, Larry, sit by this tree and just...
Oh, I've done this.
Pleasant.
Rob and I have done this. We've played at Silver Springs and seen people picnicking, and later on they'll come up and thank us. So, yeah.
Then you're setting the mood, but, typically when you picnic, right, you're at a park, there's other people, there's somebody playing music that you don't necessarily like. The food isn't nearly as good as you thought it was going to be because you bought those sandwiches at the convenience store.
The prepackaged picnic.
Yeah.
Well, and here's another thing about the picnics. Usually, I mean, you really don't eat that. It's like a buffet. You really don't eat that much. There's all this food, and everybody's so excited about all this food. But the truth is, what are you going to have? A sandwich? That's it. I mean, maybe a bag of chips after that?
And here's the thing. Whoever initiates and creates the food, and whoever's idea it is, and let's be honest, it's never been a man's idea, unless it was like the first or second date, the other person has to overreact and appreciate it. Am I right?
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, if somebody goes to the trouble of making a picnic, you got to think it's the greatest day of your life, and you can never forget it. And then what happens is you oversell it to the point where, well, we have to do this again, and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah, really.
And then you end up doing it again. You're like, you know what? I'm not going to overcommit the way I did last time, so I don't get stuck doing this.
All right, here's another one that's disappointing.
Okay, another thing during the picnic.
Right.
You know the inherent problem is the ladies want you to talk and discuss these life things.
No, that's
and most men. I mean, after you've dated a woman for a year, so there's nothing else you really need to know. You've made up your mind whether or not you want them to be your life partner and to have your children.
So the advice is to be near some water where you can at least go fishing or something.
Yeah, you got to break up the monotony of just sitting there and looking in each other's eyes with wine. It doesn't really taste good because you don't like wine.
Instead it got warm.
And I'm always amazed at how much food they get out of that little basket.
It's too much. There's always too much food.
I've been on one picnic with my wife, and it was like 4 loads back and forth to the car. So
yeah, you don't need that much food. All right, the next thing that is disappointing every single time is taking a day off of work for your birthday.
I've never done that, so
I haven't done. I don't think I have.
I really believe that we really overreact to birthdays. Who cares? It's your birthday.
Yeah, it's Andy Richter's birthday today, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that on your Facebook page.
It's something Robin and I do. Let's see. No soft serve at Carvel because they're cleaning the machine for the night. That's disappointing.
Oh, that is very disappointing.
Sorry, no soft serve. We're cleaning the machine. What? You don't close until 8. I know. It's 6. We got to get started early. It takes 2 hours.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Well, can't you start at 8 and then close at 10? I mean, you guys just get 2 hours extra pay.
Yeah.
All right. Office parties, always disappointing. Always disappointing?
Well, depends on how late you stay. Right?
Oh, really? I never stay late.
Because if you stay long enough, then you can have some really embarrassing stories. So it all depends on just how long you stay.
Hamsters. Always
you don't want to be the guy that they're talking about.
Oh, yeah. But you probably are. Hamsters, always disappointing. I'm not so sure why hamsters are on the list, but they're always disappointing. You just watch them sleep and run in that wheel. And that's
you think this one's going to be different, and then you pull it out and it chops your finger off.
All right. Another disappointing thing every single time is meeting somebody famous. It's always disappointing.
Typically, yeah. I mean, it's rarely not. How about that? I mean, it's and if it's not, then it becomes like this worldly event where, wow, that was how cool are they? And then you become like a huge fan, and you try to meet them again, and guess what? It's disappointing.
Yeah, then it's disappointing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another thing that's disappointing is I'm looking for the funnier ones here. Checking your Twitter feed. Yeah, that is disappointing. There's never anything there for me.
I haven't looked at that in a very long time. So, yeah.
The Victoria's Secret catalog. It's always disappointing, according to the Espen. You would think that they would think that was a good one. I haven't seen one, though.
I guess it's disappointing because you want to see more. I don't know. It doesn't, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't get you to see everything that you wanted to see. What are they I can think of?
All right. Robin isn't here for a segue, so we don't have one, and we're almost done. Where's the Bloodmobile today?
Let's be honest. You know, I don't know where she would go with this, but we would be amazed. Actually, today, Larry, we're at two places. One, we're at D2 Fabrications, and that's pretty awesome, out at Oxford in Marion County. And then we're also out at the city of Coleman. So we're double downing out there in that part of the world.
All right, two places today. And whoops. And if you can't get to either of the locations where the Bloodmobile is, go on Silver Springs Boulevard next to the Cascades and donate blood over there. Remember to tell him you heard Galen on the show.
Yeah, please do.
And if you're in Denellen, next to the Winn-Dixie over there, the former Sweet Bay store. All right, Galen, thank you for that, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, you guys are the best.
This is never disappointing, by the way.
It's disappointing when Robin's not there.
Right. All right, bye.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Nurse Casey Hickox released from a forced Ebola quarantine in New Jersey due to arrive in Maine today.
She and her attorney say she should follow